And welcome to Cruising with Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
Emily.
And today we are doing part two of our 30 under 30, this time the men. So just like last time, we're going to have a wheel. We have over 30 names on there. We're going to get through as many as we can. So I know it's called 30 for 30. We might not hit all 30. We might hit 30. But we're going to go through. We're going to give you some accomplishments. Kind of going to talk about where we see them fitting in and kind of what their future is.
Yes, hopefully we get through at least half of these.
Yes, it is the challenge because there's a lot of great names out there. There's a lot of great talents out there. And right now, it's definitely the year that people are starting to plant seeds. You have AEW starting to focus on their future. You had WWE bring people into the Royal Rumble and have some call ups on their side. You have TNA trying to grow their identity and bring some more people from the outside, from other companies, from the indies. So there's a lot of names to look out for. And now with three wrestling companies on United States television, there's more opportunities to see some of these faces that are potentially unsigned or signed to rise up through the company.
I enjoy the idea of doing the 30 under 30 because we're seeing the future being built around these people, and I think that it's really important to have that focus on them early because a lot of the names that we're going to say are in their late 20s. However, when you look at the roster, it's going to matter. In the
I mean,
next 10 years, they're still going to be headlining.
when you look at the average age of certain mean cards, you have some people that are in their late 40s, you have some people in their late 30s. So having kind of that next wave be, 29 to 21, I know I said that backwards, but having that kind of like next gen kind of be that mid card go up to here as those guys and girls in their 40s start to age out of full time competition. Because we've seen, once they put miles on them, once they kind of have a lot of that bump card gets punched, as they say, they got to rightfully so scale back. And the right veterans always kind of make sure that's the way for the future. And I like to quote Kenny Omega basically said today that we have to focus on making sure that, yes, we've done it before, we've drawn the money before, but we need to put our trust in the future. And I think that's what these episodes are about.
Yeah, and I think another good person that talks about that is Chelsea Green.
She does.
Although she is also someone who should be prominent.
And she's not even older. She's in her 30s. She's not like she's like
Hmm.
it's not like she's a grandma up there,
I
pushing.
think that it's a lot of the talent at the moment that's between 30 and 40 is getting lost in the shuffle of the 50 to 60s that are possibly on retirement or
I would say 50s, 60s, but yeah.
like the late 40s. I think they're getting like the early 30s are getting lost, and I think it's kind of sad, and I hope that we can get back to pushing all ages, not just one.
And I think that's a wrestling problem. And you'll see with some of the names we have on there, sometimes the pushes are just because it's just there's certain periods and time frames where, like you said, people get lost in the shuffle. And sometimes you have young talents that'll pop up. They won't work out the first time in a company, but then they come back a second time, and it's like they reinvented themselves. I mean, AJ Styles was in WCW, to put that in perspective. He was in the system. Kenny Omega was in the WWE developmental system at one point. So WWE had Kenny Omega. It's just sometimes it's not the right moment. Nobody has Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Still don't know why he's not signed anywhere.
I know.
But let's see. So without further ado, I'm going to set the wheel up here. We're going to go ahead and spin for our first person on the old wheel. If it would actually let me. Thank you. So here we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
First person we have.
The
Oh,
most talked about between the two of us during this.
the proto star. Kyle Fletcher. Because you got to make sure you say his full name.
Kyle fucking Fletcher.
That works too. So what notes do you got for me on Mr. Kyle, the proto star, motherfucking Fletcher?
He is from Sydney, but moved to further his career.
Lives in Chicago now, I believe, right?
I mean, like, in the beginning, he moved knowing Australia wasn't going to be, like, the
Oh.
biggest scene. So, I'm not sure exactly when he moved, but I know he moved pretty early. In 2018 and 19, he had 152 matches in 18 and 142 matches in 19. He had a Ring of Honor debut in 2018. He's an 8-time tag team champion, former Ring of Honor television champion, and
Obviously, former TNT champion, which he's going to try to get back as of recording Wednesday on Dynamite. He's going against Tommaso Ciampa because they're heading back to Australia this weekend, and he wants to go home to his home country with some beautiful gold on his shoulder.
And I have a couple more fun facts. I'll let you go on for a little bit and then come back to me.
All right. So I just love when he was with Aussie Open with Mark Davis, and then obviously when they got into United Empire with Will Ospreay. I love that he was tearing it up in New Japan. I mean, FTR versus Aussie Open had some great matches in New Japan that not enough people talk about. I think that's what put him on Tony Khan's radar.
Yes.
I think that's what really opened his eyes to how good Kyle Fletcher can be. And then on a personal level, I've seen how he interacts with people on social media and in person. We've seen it on the cruise. I've seen clips of him. And I just see how he gets it. He gets how to be a heel. He gets how to be a babyface. And he's someone that takes a chance on himself. I mean, he fucking shaved his head on a whim in the middle of the ring because he needed to evolve his character, and he figured the hair had to go. And now it's become his signature look with the pink. And he wears pink because he's like, well, not a lot of dudes do. So I like it that he chose to stand out and he chose to kind of be himself. And I think he's going to be a world champion very soon.
I think so for sure. He was the breakout star listed by Sports Illustrated and ESPN.
And us.
He has been involved in 31 tournaments. 10 of those he was a finalist, and 3 of them he won, which I think is a huge
And he's come close twice in the C2, back-to-back runner-up.
Yes. So I don't know. I think he appeared in most of the promotions that are like bigger names by 2022.
He was in a lot of the Super Juniors, right, in the tag team tournaments in New Japan. So
yeah,
he's definitely very experienced. He knows. I mean, just look at the C2. He went out there, he had 5 matches over 5 weeks. I went to the pay-per-view. Revolution, he had that awesome cage match with Ospreay, which you shared a clip on our socials recently of that match. His first match with Ospreay at 2024 World's End. Second match, for the first one for the C2. I haven't seen him put on many bad matches, and I think he's someone that... How old is he again?
He's only 26 years old.
So, again, he's literally the prime of his career. Already made waves in the mid-card. Starting to punch up, starting to go up, and then this beef with Okada, this beef with everything, with Takeshi and everything. He could be leaving soon and kind of finding his own identity.
Speaking of those two... He is also one of 20 of the Don Callis family and one of 16 of United Empire.
Yeah, now United Empire, it's all over the place.
Different.
It's
however
the Unbound. Yeah, he's got 38 family members at this point.
Crazy.
I hope dude's got a lot of Christmas cards to write or a lot of holiday cards to write.
It's okay. He's got someone special do it for him.
Yeah.
With him.
All right, our next person up is Oba Femi. Oba Femi, who I really enjoyed. Someone put a random tweet out, and Jordan Grace retweeted it. I about died laughing. When he came up to the Royal Rumble, he had a really cool necklace on, and someone said, you got to be a bad motherfucker and have a lot of ore when you can wear a bunch of munchkins walking your way to the ring and make it look badass.
How did they not get him in that Super Bowl commercial after that?
Right? Oba Femi, he is a badass. So what do you got for us on Oba Femi?
He is 27. He played shot put.
Jesus.
Winning 10 medals, and he debuted in NXT in 2022. He is Nigerian. He's a 2-time NXT champion and has the longest reign as the North American champion of NXT.
I was going to say, yeah, he dominated the North American title.
I think it was over 400 days, if I remember.
Was a little upset. I'll put it out there. I was a little upset with how they kind of took it off him quickly to Ricky Saints. I almost said his other name. And I thought he should have done what other champions did. He should have just laid it down in the ring like Trick Williams and just got called up and laid it in the ring and said, I made this title, you prove worth. I don't think he should have been beaten. I think that was part of his big aura. I think he had that crazy run with the North American title. His NXT championship runs were dominant. He's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, they teased him and Lesnar. They already teased him and a couple other big guys. Now you got Royce Keys and him, aka Powerhouse Hobbs. That's a match I said, when we did our picture, I'd love to see happen. You have him versus, even against someone like a Chad Gable when he's not doing his lucha gimmick. That could be a fantastic match. I'd like to see him go on a tear. I can definitely see him becoming United States champion or Continental champion by the end of this year.
Yeah,
and then kind of having a dominant mid-card run. All right, so we're going to do a little shuffle before we spin just to make sure. If he comes up again, remind me to clear hair. I've got to hit the button.
Oh, no.
It's all right. Okay, time to send Hook. Hopefully send him away. No, I'm just kidding. So, Hook, a.k.a. the El Hijo de Taz, the son of Taz, who has been on I think since the pandemic, so since 2020, I think he's been on our television screens in AEW.
2021.
Oh wow!
Since the pandemic.
Yeah, I know he was. Let's see, he was FTW champion, longest running champion, right?
3-time.
I know he had that feud with Jericho. Not a lot of people liked, but I thought it was a good feud.
Yeah, for the Ring of Honor title, but
Hookhausen was something I was entertained by. I really thought him and Danhausen made that great polar opposite pairing, like him just eating chips, Danhausen being quirky. I feel Hook has a lot of potential. I just don't think they have found the right thing for him. I thought him and Samoa Joe were going to work great. Now the whole thing with the ops, I just kind of feel like I don't know if it's going to work with him. I think he needs that manager. He just needs to kind of go out there and he needs to be presented. I think the problem is he's being presented two different ways, so it's hard for people to latch onto him. He throws a hell of a suplex. He's very fluid in the ring. He's clearly wrestles like Taz, and he's trained by him and works like him. He's got the athleticism. He needs someone to talk for him. I think that's a big thing. He has to work on his personality with the crowd. He's got to work on his mic work, because the biggest thing in wrestling is connecting with the crowd. I just don't think he's fully connected. I think they tried for a while. I think that heel turn kind of killed anything.
I want you to please remember, most of the people on our list are going to have a huge independent scene. I want you to guess how many promotions Hook has worked in.
Well, he didn't really start doing the indies till recently, so I would probably say 6.
Less.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did
4.
He did Limitless this year. He did House of Glory, I believe, this year. He did Limitless this year.
He did Limitless, AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. That is it. So I think he has a lot more to...
Well, there's more announced coming, because I've seen posters of him. Okay.
But that's all he has done.
And I
think it's important for him to go get those. And a lot of the time, like, independents help get things under your feet. Again, he's 26 years old. He's got a background in football, judo, and lacrosse. So there is that ability to get the athleticism in there. It's just getting him more mic skills, getting him everything. I think working with Samoa Joe was awesome.
No, I agree. I think, like you said with the indies, I think he's got to get those reps in. I agree with you. I think it's hard to do the mic work in the indies, and I think it's hard. People forget that AEW doesn't have like what WWE does. They don't have that like performance center where they can practice the promos, they can practice all the stuff for television. So I agree. I think going on the indies, doing more his own, like filming his vignettes, filming the promos where you can edit them. Because I think the hardest thing, I know for me, would be going out there live with a hot mic. I think that'd be hard. But I think if you can do a pre-tape backstage, like where he was on the rooftop with the fire, that worked really well for him when he was short and sweet to the point. I think him trying to cut full promos, he needs more seasoning. And I don't think that's an insult. I think it's just, like you said, he's 26 years old. It's time to grow.
Yeah, and I think that being able to expand more, I think losing Dark did not help a lot of these wrestlers. Even like people in their 30s could use it. I mean, it helped enhance talent. It helped get more matches. Like, how do you think Jade Cargill had such a long run? It's because she had that many matches under her belt. I wish they would use
Ring of Honor like Dark, if you want my honest opinion. Like, you want a perfect show to put on YouTube? Have Ring of Honor be on YouTube every week and make that like Dark, where you still have the championships that people will tune in if there's championships. I'm not saying everything.
Honestly, just do both. We could bring Dark back.
I don't know if I want him Tony trying to produce that much wrestling. I think that might be too much, but
you've got tons of other people.
That's true. That's why I'm thinking. Stay tuned. We'll talk a little more Ring of Honor. Speaking of Ring of Honor, Atlantis Jr. from CMLL also made some matches and debuts on Ring of Honor. Has been on the main roster. Has pretty much wrestled over AEW. I loved seeing him in CMLL. When I first saw him wrestle, I was like, okay, what's different between him and everyone else in the ring? He had such charisma when he came to the ring. But I know he's got a long history in CMLL, because I know he's young, but he's been wrestling for a while. So what do you got on Atlantis Jr.?
He's 27 years old. He's a second generation wrestler. My little fun fact about him is that his dad asked him to wait to train 8 years. So he waited to train till he got his education in. So he did 8 years of training before being in the ring.
That's a long time for Lucha Libre.
Yeah. So at 27, think about he debuted around 18, 19 years old in the ring. He started working for wrong one.
He's not working
3
CMLL.
matches before his CMLL debut in 2016. Wrestled in New Japan in 2017, Rev Pro 2023, and popped up in Ring of Honor, AEW, MLW, and Rev Pro in 2024. And in 2025, he had 181 matches.
No, he's someone that's definitely. I don't know if he's dual contracted. I don't think he is, but he's someone who they definitely use a lot in tag team matches and mix and like multi-man matches. I think he fits the lucha libre style obviously perfect. I think if anyone, I'd like to see him and Gravity come back a little bit more. I feel like they haven't got a lot, and I don't know what happened to Gravity, if it was an injury or if it was something else. But I'd like to see more Atlantis Jr. And I think, with this continued crossover and obviously with Grand Slam Mexico rumored to come back, I think we will. He's someone that I think just, it's hard for Lucha Libre. I mean, you have Mystico, who's the most popular thing in Mexico and CMLL, so I think it's hard for him to stand out. But I think when he's in the ring, I think he is. I think getting him a good tag team run so people can really see a lot of his work, I think will help him in the future. All right, let's see who we got next on the old Wheel of Fun. Ooh, this is a good one. Alec Price,
Ooh.
Busta himself, who was just signed to AEW. If you go back to episode 2, the Seas Are Limitless, also available on YouTube, you can listen to us gush all about Alec Price and about how we discovered him at Limitless, and now the lineage is even more great for that title. Northeast Beast for a reason. All over the Northeast he was wrestling. He was on the Indies for a lot longer than I thought he would be. He saw a lot of his friends and coworkers get kind of called up to the bigger promotions, but it's nice to finally see Alec Price come into AEW. But what do you have for us on the Northeast Beast, Alec Price?
He is 27 years old. He debuted at 17.
Wow.
And in 9 years had almost 750 matches. He traveled the independent scene heavily since 2021. Obviously, the pandemic hindered a lot of these young talents. He spent 315 days as a Limitless champion. He's been a 3-time GCW Tag Team Champion and an IWTV World Champion. And like you said, he was signed to AEW earlier this year. You know where I'm shocked he has yet to wrestle, and I need to see this now?
Where?
New Japan.
I mean,
somewhere like that. I want to see him.
You got to remember, too, New Japan, it's not easy. You have to know someone, and they have to almost invite you. So it's not easy, especially if you're not signed anywhere.
Just where he did so many independent scenes,
but
I'm shocked.
But you got to remember, they're not gonna, they can't, it's expensive. So you have to have someone fund you to get over there. You have to have someone sponsor you. That's why a lot of times they'll go to Noah's or they'll go to other parts of Japan and wrestle for other companies to try to get noticed.
I don't even know if he's done that.
I don't really think he's done a lot. I think he's done a couple international tours, but I don't think he's done New Japan yet. But you never know. Again, sign with AEW. This is why it's good for wrestling, because he has a chance, even if it's when they come to Chicago and they do the Windy City Riot, or if when they come to Jersey or California, even if he wrestles in the pre-show, just a chance to meet people. And having someone like Rocky around AEW, who is a liaison between AEW and New Japan, is helpful for him and his partner Jordan Oliver, which I'm sure we'll get to as well at some point if he's on the list. So I really like Alec. I think he's got a lot of upside, and I can see within a year or two him getting his first taste of singles gold somewhere.
It was really nice to see him get the AEW contract, because the Limitless Championship holds a lot of future, and he was one of the first to not get signed after holding that title, and it really was, I don't know, shocking, because we heard he had like rumblings happening in WWE, and then that didn't work out.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to look at sometimes it's right place, not even that, right place, right time. Sometimes it's, rosters get very bloated, and then they thin out with contract turnover and everything else. Sometimes it's right place, right time. Everyone's talking about how many signings AEW's done, including him and Jordan Oliver recently. There's a lot of signings. I'll say it now. I was going to save it for a little bit later, but I think Ring of Honor got some sort of deal we don't know about yet. I think there's some sort of, either it's a YouTube exclusive streaming deal, it's coming to Max. Again, this is all speculation. I don't know anything. Something's going on with Ring of Honor, because he's really loading up. And again, the future of wrestling, he's loading up on this talent. Alec Price fits the mold for someone. Like I said, I could see him win singles title. I could see him winning the Ring of Honor, like from Bandito. I could see him being the Ring of Honor champion and carrying that brand, and then seasoning himself and coming back to the main roster. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they would all tell you themselves, they'd rather be wrestling weekly on television too, and he can still take independent bookings.
I think that he's going to be on the tag team scene for a while with Jordan Oliver, which is fantastic as well.
That is true. Nothing wrong with that. And also, Nick Wayne has some unfinished business for them as well. So there's a lot of ways when he comes back.
We've got some trios titles too. There's so many
After
options.
the Outrunners get those first. Ooh, speaking of new signings, one third of the Rascals. Our very first match we ever saw at Limited featured this man and Carmelo Hayes. I almost said Christian Casanova. I'd be good and say Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes versus Myron Reed. The first match we ever saw at Limitless. We thought both men were phenomenal. We've seen Myron at DPW. We saw him at Atlantic Wrestling up in the Northeast. He was all over the indies. He was in TNA for a while, really starting to make his name. Myron Reed, someone that I think you should get to know, and I know you got some fun facts on him as well.
I do. He debuted at 18 years old, and in 10 years has had just over 875 matches. Whew. He made a name for himself through MLW and GCW, and was a 3-time MLW World Middleweight Champion, and became a part of the Rascals in Impact, and signed with them with AEW earlier this year. And his grandmother got him into wrestling, which I really like. And then something else is, when we first saw him, he had a vest.
Yep.
Well, now he does not wear that vest because he's trying to go into more of a lucha style. So he lost the vest and is going shirtless.
Which is hilarious because when he was wearing the vest, he still was. Because one of the things I'll always remember is him versus Carmelo. Carmelo picks him up and he does a cutter. And they don't do it on the apron. They don't do it in the ring. They do it from the ring to the fucking floor, at least a 3-foot drop, onto essentially a hardwood floor. There wasn't padding there.
I think we were in like the second row when I think I stood up. I was like, what just happened?
We heard the thump and I was just like, holy shit. And then seeing him do crazy spots in DPW. And then this past weekend on the parking lot brawl and Collision, the Mad Rascals were victorious. And that's the name I'm dubbing them, the Mad Rascals, with Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, and the Rascals. And you know what? I hope one day I'm invited to the trios because it looks like a hell of a fun time. I love the personality they have. I love Myron Reed. I think it's great that they wrestle as a tag team, they wrestle as a trio, and they can wrestle individual. Sky's the limit for him. I think he's someone that I could even see pushing for an intergender. Him and Killer Kelly. I can see him pushing for an intergender tag team. You wanted that intergender trios. What if it's the Rascals, but with Killer Kelly, who get the trios? Do you feel with your predictions?
This is even more that I love because I really just want to see the intergender matches continue. See? And AEW every week has pretty much had one between Ring of Honor and AEW. Every week we've seen them.
Yeah. All right. What else we got here? Ooh, A-Town down. Newest clown of the division. Just kidding. Austin Theory. Someone who was on the indies for a while and kind of broke out in NXT from what I remember and had teamed with Johnny Gargano and The Way. And I remember having one of the coolest reveals in like a ghost face mask when he became a heel. Had a lot of potential and it just seems like, we'll get into a little bit, seems like booking's gotten his way. But someone who has a very bright upside and even had a feud with Cena at fucking WrestleMania.
Yes, 28 years old, debuted at 18. Signed with WWE in 2019 after appearing on Evolve for 3 years. He's a former Evolve champion, 2-time WWE United States champion, a WWE Tag Team champion, and was a huge independent name along with being a bodybuilder. And do you know who trained him?
Who trained him?
AR Fox.
I mean, AR Fox has trained a lot of talented people, so
I have
it does not
at least one more on here with his training. I just like to note it when I know the people. No.
Oh, because he's also...
I mean, yes, but no.
Again, Austin Theory, he came in with some controversy. I won't get into that. But he came in with a good head on his shoulders when it came to wrestling because Evolve was a huge independent promotion. I used to love going to Evolve. That's what I've said before. I've seen Ciampa. I saw Gunther. I saw a lot of great matches. It was sad to see Evolve kind of go away. Unfortunately, especially with the pandemic, a lot of wrestling did not survive. But it was nice to see a lot of the people, the standouts from Evolve, including Theory, got brought onto NXT. Him with Gargano and Candice as The Way, being that heel group, really kind of helped get him that cocky attitude. Obviously, Vince had a big affinity for him because he was a bodybuilder. He used to do the selfies and do the pose, and everybody used to beat him down, take a selfie. They had a good thing going with this heel. You could have gotten this heel. I don't know. It seems like booking was never out in his favor. And it seems like another one of those people where it's just they need to find a direction and stick with it because I think he's got the talent. He's got the charisma. I mean, even when he had to get rid of the name Austin, just call himself Theory because Vince McMahon didn't want two people named Austin. God forbid. And then now he's back to the Austin Theory. And it's just... he's had a lot in his way, and I think he's made the best of it, and I think he's uber talented. I think he needs to be solo. I don't think he needs to be with a group. I think put him on SmackDown, put him with that division, let him go for the U.S. title, let him be in that mid-card title, let him kind of flourish, and I think people will be surprised.
At
I think
28, he's ready.
And that's the thing, he could flourish. He's already wrestled John Cena at WrestleMania 39, I believe, in Hollywood. So, like, he's been on the big stage. He's been there. Just, you got to give him the chance. And I think that's the biggest problem. Sometimes some people just never get the chance. So, hopefully one day he does. Ooh, sorry about the typo there. Bron Breakker. You gotta love autocorrect here. Also, I want to give our thoughts out to Bron Breakker. He's recovering from a hernia surgery. From what WB also reported, he'll be out for indefinite healing. Hope he can come back stronger. I hope he doesn't, keep him out longer. He's a genetic freak, just like his dad and just like his uncle. Scott Steiner's his uncle. Rick Steiner's his dad. Second generation, third, I think even third generation technically. He's got the lineage, he's got the look. He's a Steiner. I mean, he dominated through football and NXT. I don't want to take your glory, so I'll let you go before I go too much on him.
Well, he was signed to the Baltimore Ravens as an undrafted free agent in 2020.
Which is impressive.
So right here, I literally have Mongo explains, because I don't fucking know football.
So basically it means he did really well in college. He didn't get picked in the NFL draft, but the Ravens still picked him anyway. There are a lot of notable undrafted free agents that make impact in the NFL. It basically just means someone took a chance on him. So the fact that he got picked up means they saw he had talent, and he got picked up by the Ravens, which is known for their hard-hitting defense. So Bron Breakker on a hard-hitting defense makes sense.
So he can also reach up to 40 miles per hour in the ring.
Holy crap. No thank you.
He was 2022 Rookie of the Year in NXT.
Deservedly so.
He had a single match in 2016, and then 2020 had 2 matches, and then would debut and be signed to NXT after that.
And I love that they kind of created almost like the Goldberg type run with him. Not like the undefeated streak, but he would spear people. Like they even did the old Goldberg versus Bret Hart angle where he speared him, and the guy pulled out a plate because I believe it was not Prince Pretty, Dolph Ziggler who did it. He pulled out the little metal plate because he speared him because he had a good run in NXT. He was a dominant champion. He ran through. I was so excited to see him get to the main roster. He had that great famous spot where he spears KSI in the Rumble, or I should speak, in the Rumble. There was another great one where he comes down the ramp and just flies. He's known for his spears. He's a dominant force. I really thought he was going to win the Rumble. I don't know if maybe because of the injury, that's why he was thrown out sooner. He's someone that they've teased and set up to be a main eventer. I can see him win the world champion very soon. He's someone he fits that WB mold. And knowing he goes 40 miles an hour, I don't want to get speared by him.
No, that's insane.
That's wild.
I don't know how they tracked it, but that's insane. It says 25 to 40 miles per hour.
Which is wild. And then, like, even if...
That's a car.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. No, I still wish he was called Braun Steiner, though. I understand.
I know.
But you already have a cool wrestling name. Okay. Kaito Kiyomiya. How do you say this name?
I'm not sure.
Kiyomiya? I don't know anything about this person, so...
So I have that he debuted in 2015. He wrestled in New Japan in 2016 and found Pro Wrestling Noah in 2019. But that is all I have on him. But he is on a ton of people's lists for people to watch out for. He is 29 years old. But he debuted 11 years ago. So I think that's, really impressive. To debut at 18 and be on people's lists without a whole lot of promotions under your belt is a really big deal.
I have to look into him a little more to see if maybe it's someone who's kind of grinding through Japan to see if he's
I thought this was someone you knew more about too.
No, I don't.
Sorry, Kaito?
I would say Kaito. I think I apologize if we got it incorrectly. So let's go on to the next one because again, I don't want to make up something about something I don't know, but I definitely will look into him. All right, Hologram. I think we all know and love Hologram, formerly known as Aramis before he rebranded. I know that he went through AAA, went through CMLL. He even teamed with Arez, who's now El Clone. He's feuded with Arez. He's been with Komander. Now he's currently with Komander again. I think he's someone who is very young in the lucha game, but he has a lot of experience under his belt from what I've read out of him.
Yes. So.
And I know right now he is currently out with an ACL injury, hoping he comes back soon. Thoughts out to him. It really stinks because right when the Hologram and El Clone feud was going, he got injured, but it might work because now El Clone is kind of rising up the ranks, and when he comes back, we're going to have that identity crisis storyline.
And what was he formerly known as? Aramis?
Yeah, I think Aramis is another. I can never say it. I think it's Aramis is how you say it.
So he has 26 years, or he's 26 years old and has
26 years. Holy crap!
15 years of experience, which means he debuted at just 11 years old. He's known for his high-flying superhero style. He started working for AAA in 2017 and was finally added to AEW in 2024 and would be a fast fan favorite with his flashy performance and light-up gear. He's part of the conglomeration and has appeared at nearly every promotion before the age of 20.
No, he's he's
11.
I mean, again, that's why when you said that guy waited 8 years, trained for 8 years. In Lucha Libre, it's not uncommon to have your kids rolling around in the ring. I mean, it's literally in their blood. It's in their DNA. And when he was in AAA and he's been in GCW, he's been everywhere. That's how he got noticed by Tony Khan. And then the reason why he got rebranded Hologram is he couldn't keep the Aramis name because that wasn't his name. A lot of times, the lucha there is a person you don't know who it is. That's the biggest thing. It's very, very big on their secrecy and kayfabe. Someone portrays the gimmick. Someone portrays the mask. So someone else could be taking up the Aramis mantle. So that's why Tony Khan wanted to make his own with Hologram, and that's why I think the storyline with El Clone would be good because we could always rebrand him as a Rez when that's done. But I'm excited. Hologram's something to look out for, and we will see him back this year from what he's been saying. So hopefully his knee heals up because I'm ready to see him and El Clone go at it because I could see him as TNT champion. I could see him as tag team champions with Komander. Look what happened with Bandito and Brody. I mean, you don't have to have long runs. You can have some fun runs.
I think it will be really cool to watch the story progress that we were supposed to have already seen.
Which they're still building well. You got to give them credit for. Ooh, the Golden Mask. Máscara Dorada. Another one of my favorites from CMLL. Has a huge lineage in wrestling. He has a huge presence in wrestling, and he's one of their fastest rising stars in CMLL. He's someone who's really, since his arrival, has picked up the steam, picked up the mantle. He got a dual contract with AEW. He's officially signed to AEW and CMLL because Tony Khan recognizes his potential as well. He put on phenomenal matches in the Continental Classic. He put on phenomenal matches in CMLL. He's someone him and Mystico are two people I was like, please, if you're going to get dual contracts, these are the two people I want to see. WB had interest in Máscara Dorada because he's so world-renowned. He's so well-known. WB tried to sign him.
So he's only 24 years old.
Yeah,
he debuted at 19. His first ever match was in CMLL. In 2023, he had 147 matches. 2024, 187. 2025, 217. And in 2026, he's already had 25 matches, and we're just in the beginning of February.
I was going to say we're on the 10th day of February. So, I mean, we're not even 60 days into the year. So, if you think about it, we're 42 days in the year. So
and he's had 25 matches. That's over half.
Yeah, so that's at least one match a week, if not more, which is incredible. And he's a workhorse, and he's someone, again, he's 24. Give him a few more years, and he's gonna keep grinding through the ranks of CML and AEW.
I'm shocked he didn't already have a championship. I think that's definitely got to be in the works.
I mean, with CML, they don't really. It's hard because there's only so many, and I think he just has it. And I think he needs a tag team partner. I think that's the big thing. I think he's got to get with a tag team partner or a trio in CML to get some gold. I see him as someone that. Maybe he stays with the conglomeration. Maybe he helps Hologram against El Clone. Maybe we get another one. Maybe we get another evil luchador that kind of go with El Clone, and we get a good lucha tag team, and we get an evil lucha tag team. I think there's a lot of fun you can have it. Again, with this partnership with CMLL, Rev Pro, New Japan, they can go all around the world. And having AEW being dual contract means travel expenses are now going to be helped pay for. Because that's a big thing no one talks about in wrestling is when you're not signed to WWE or AEW or TNA, you're paying for your travel to go to these places. You're paying for your hotels. You're paying all this stuff. And what you're getting paid booking-wise probably isn't going to always meet that. I'm not saying they can't afford it. It's just they're not going to pay for your travel on top of a booking all the time. So seeing this opportunity, I mean, I would love to see Máscara Dorada in the Tokyo Dome, showing off his skills. I think the Japanese wrestling fans would absolutely love him if they haven't seen him already. He's someone definitely keep an eye. He's one of my favorites that I've been high on for a couple of years. So I'm glad he was on this list. All right, who else do we got on this list? Ooh, Javion Evans. He's bouncy. Another one we were fortunate enough to see at DPW. It was great to see him the couple times we got to see him, and then hearing he got signed was incredible. We've talked about it before. Him and Saquon Sugars, we were lucky enough to see in their DPW. I love Javion. I'm so glad he was called up to the main roster. He had a short stint on NXT, but he definitely got noticed between going to TNA, between grinding at NXT, and his work on the Indies. He's finally got noticed, and he just an awesome cutter to El Grande Americano this past week on Raw, where they basically went post to post, and he had a flying cutter. It was fucking awesome.
I just love how he's 21 years old and you're saying he's finally, because he's been wrestling since he was 13.
I was going to say he's been wrestling forever. He's a North Carolina legend.
Yeah, he was the youngest ever to graduate from the Firestar Pro Academy in North Carolina.
Whoop, whoop.
And he made his ring debut in 2018, but he was obviously training since 13 years old. He had 3 AEW dark matches before being signed to NXT in 2024. He first started looking into wrestling history after playing WWE games. He gives his wrestling style credit to trampolining as a kid, sneaking into his neighbor's yard.
That's awesome.
And another sure sign the future of wrestling is going to be wildly talented is that he is 21.
No, I agree.
Wild.
I think someone like him, he's just so much upside. 21 years old, already impressing the crowd. I know Mark Henry said wait 15 years. I think within 3 or 4 years, he's going to be a household name. I mean, he's already got name recognition. He's someone that there's so much upside. If they keep his push correct, they kind of push him up the rings. Let him get the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. Let him get a tag team title run. Let him get some time under his belt. Let him get some gold. Let him get more recognition. Get him into the next 2K game so he can see himself as a video game. Come full circle. Give him that inspiration to keep going. He's gonna.
You want him to wait till he's 35? Okay, that's his prime.
Well,
he should already be something.
That's why everyone clowned Mark Henry for that terrible take.
Yeah,
it was a terrible
awful.
take. It was.
He's already in his prime, and it's not his prime.
I was saying he's not even. He hasn't his prime. He's at the beginning. Wait till you see what his prime is. All right, Vanilla Baby, Blake Christian, someone who I drove Emily nuts for years. Talking about Blake Christian, all heart, baby, all heart. Except now he broke my heart. Now he's just Vanilla Baby. He is amazing. I fell in love watching him on Ring of Honor and GCW. I got to see him in person, GCW in August 2023. Seeing him wrestle in Concord, North Carolina, watching him in person, I realized how talented this dude was. He's a former GCW world champion. He's wrestled everywhere that I can think of. I won't take all your thunder. He's someone that he's young and he's hungry, and I think he's going to keep climbing.
Yes, he is 28 years old, and in just 6 years, he's had over 430 matches.
Wow.
Debuting at 18. His first year, he appeared in 29 companies, including Impact, GCW, and PWG. New Japan in 2020, and in 2021, he debuted for WWE and would be a part of a huge release. But he went on to be signed by AEW and Ring of Honor and has held the GCW World Championship for almost a full year at 356 days.
I was going to say, I don't even think he was with WWE for more than a cup of coffee. So
Yeah, which is because he was part of that huge release that happened, I believe, in 2021.
No, I know. I was thinking, I think it was one of those, he got signed and they just never really used him and released him, which is a shame. And it's great to see him and Lee doing their thing. I think it's fun. I think him on Ring of Honor is great, kind of getting him used to television, used to everything. I like that they've brought him in on Dynamite a few times. I think he's a good heel. I think he's a good face. He's such a great worker. He's charismatic. He's someone, again, another one that I could see, give it a couple of years, and I could see him, being like that Buddy Murphy where you would root for him, being like that, Wardlow where you root for him to get that mid-card title, being that established mid-card guy. I'm not saying he has a ceiling. So when I say these things, I don't think people have a ceiling. Their ceiling's whatever the fuck they make it. I'm just saying I personally could see him getting an international title or getting the TNT title. He's someone that I could see going to New Japan. He's someone I'd love to see go over to New Japan. I think him doing like the Super Juniors, I think he's built for that. That's how Ospreay and the others got their start. Ricochet, have him in the Super Juniors, have him hang with that division.
Yeah.
You're finally coming to my side of the table when it comes to Blake Christian.
I'm trying. He's not as vanilla as I thought. I'm just kidding.
Ooh, the Scapegoat, Jurassic Express OG, Jack Perry. And someone who's been a fan since he was a kid, going to WrestleMania and SummerSlam with his dad, and someone we've talked a lot about. I feel like he's got a lot of good history, and I think AEW's really kind of helped really start developing, because between AEW and New Japan, he started to build up a good resume these past few years.
Yes, and in 2009, he had 2 matches. He's only 28, so...
Didn't he lie about his age at one point?
Yes. And he would set out in 2015 and never stop, well, until, he continued wrestling. In 2019, he was brought into AEW as one of the originals and is a former TNT champion, former AEW tag team champion, and FTW champion. Also, little tidbit, he's friends with David Arquette and was a part of the documentary in a very huge way that we've talked about to death.
His dad saved his life, so him and his dad basically rushed David Arquette to the hospital. And also, I want to give credit to his New Japan run. When he went to New Japan during his suspension, which is very much public record, he was able to reinvent himself on the microphone. I think he learned the ability and the art of the promo from New Japan, from those backstage segments. He credits it himself. Also, now he's a badass blacksmith. I think that's such a cool thing when it shows him making knives and weapons, when it shows him making different things. And I think hopefully Lucha's coming back soon. I think he's finally finding his own footing again as Jungle Jack. I think they did a good job, because let's face it, he was put in a shitty situation.
Very
and
shitty.
We don't need to rehash it, but he kind of got the shit end of the stick of it. He came back as heel because nobody was going to cheer for him. But now people are cheering for him. So AEW did such a good job taking a bad situation, making him a heel, making what they can work, to the point where he was booed out of the building in Chicago to now he's being cheered. Like, they did a good job kind of rehabbing his character. And I think it's great, because now as a face, he's wrestling like Jack Perry used to wrestle. So people are remembering, oh yeah, that's right, Jack Perry is fucking talented. Yes, he is. He wrestled as heel. He is very talented.
You're not supposed to like everybody. We say it all the time because of how I was with the Young Bucks and a few other people. You're not supposed to like them.
And I will say, he definitely has trained with Jon Moxley. They don't talk about it a lot, but he's talked about how Jon Moxley's kind of helped him develop some more of his ring style. And think about how Jon Moxley, when he was a heel, how he wrestled versus as a face. I think that is kind of what got around the locker rooms. People were kind of figured out, oh, well, Moxley pisses people off when he wrestles this way. That'll piss people. I think you learn from your veterans and your leaders in your locker room, and I think he's smart enough to pick that up. And again, he's already been TNT champion. Do I see world title in his future? Maybe, but you know what? I definitely see him winning the Continental Classic. He's someone I could see winning the Continental Classic.
You know what match really elevated him?
Which one?
The pillar match.
I wouldn't say that really elevated. I think that one actually kind of hurt him a little bit.
You think so?
I think if anything that really elevated him, I think his cage match with Luchasaurus.
Well, yes. But
and the
also,
coffin match at Darby really showed it.
The chemistry between him and Luchasaurus has been growing since he was a child. I think that they started wrestling together.
It's a boy and his dinosaur.
Literally from childhood. And I think that that's something so important.
I mean, Luchasaurus is like 65 billion years old, so he's got to have the older brother mentality on him. Luchasaurus said it himself. I'm not calling him old. So we just respin this again, because it pulled up Oba Femi.
Well, that worked out. I died for a second. Okay, going back a little.
All right, Lee Johnson. Now, Big Shotty is someone who I'm a big fan of. Shane Taylor Promotions has done wonders for him. I am so happy with his work in AEW. I think he's really shined. I think he's still got such a bright upside. But what do you got for facts on Mr. Lee Johnson?
All right, he's 28 years old. He joined AEW at the height of the pandemic in 2020. He made a huge impression fast and has been a reoccurring face on Ring of Honor lately. He is a protege of the Nightmare family and was heavily involved in the Cody Rhodes storyline.
He was a big part of that storyline.
He was always wrestling, whether it was Dark, Dynamite, Rampage at the time. He was constantly defending Cody's honor. I think that it was really awesome to see.
Well, he went to
the
his
impact
school. Wasn't
of the
he?
Nightmare.
He went to. Didn't he? Yeah, I was gonna say he was a big part of that showcase.
Yes.
And I think he's one of the AEW homegrown talents, really, if you think about it.
Yes, 100%. I think if you were a part of AEW this much into the pandemic, it counts. Okay, that pandemic lasted.
I'm not even
summer
talking about
2021.
AEW original. I'm talking about homegrown, like someone who trains.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, I think AEW original is anyone from like 2019 to like tail end of the pandemic. I agree with that
2021.
one. Obviously, like, you know how we talk about they don't have a performance center. Well, for a while, QT and Cody were kind of like the performance center. They got Jade Cargill, they got Lee Johnson, you know, Anna Jay. Like, they really helped get some of the
Dustin's.
Yeah, like Dustin's. Like, I think that was like their big thing, and I think that's something they're always going to look for. And I think maybe that's what AEW needs to look for in the future is, you know, having a school that's exclusive, like flatbacks at one day or something like that. I'm not saying that school particularly, but
Oof.
oh, my boy, Gabe Kidd. Oh, first of all, he's got a super sad story. If those don't know the story, pandemic, speaking of that, really messed with this poor man's head. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he went to very dark places, and I'm thankful he's still with us. That's all I'll say to respect his privacy from what he's put out there. I absolutely love Gabe Kidd. He is that British brute brawler, no nonsense, tough guy. I mean, he was in the War Dogs. They called themselves the War Dogs in the Bullet Club because they felt like the Bullet Club was kind of gone, so they wanted their own identity. And his identity was he wanted to kind of be that pit bull that was off the chain and take everyone out. And I just absolutely love him. And he looks like he's working more with AEW, so I'm super excited to see more Gabe Kidd on my television. You are not, because he's hurting your boy Darby, our boy Darby.
Yes. However, he's 28 and debuted at 15.
Oh, yeah, he was
Rev Pro debut happened in 2019. His New Japan debut was 2020. He started touring in the U.S. in 2023. He's a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, and Openweight Tag Champion. He's also a New Japan graduate after being recognized by Shibata. I think that's kind of cool because you talked about how you have to get recognition in order to come through. So I think that's kind of cool.
And if you watch when they did Wrestle Dynasty in 2025, it's so weird to say 2025 now because it's last year now. The promo package build up between him and Kenny Omega was fantastic because it really kind of told his story of getting into the New Japan Dojo and how the pandemic, you know, he went from having a place to wrestle. Like you said, he'd only been in the business a few years at that point. He only really knew Rev Pro, and now he's living in Japan under quarantine. He doesn't know if he wants to keep doing this. To see from that to where he is now, winning all these accolades, becoming part of one of the most famous factions in wrestling, fighting one of the most famous people in wrestling, Kenny Omega, going after Darby, kind of going after the face of AEW, like, and working with the Death Riders. Like, he's really, in these past couple of years, gone from someone that was, okay, I've heard of him, to, holy shit, it's Gabe Kidd.
Darby was essentially like the savior of AEW at that point.
And now he's going after him because he saved AEW. Like, and we saw it in person when he threw him through the flaming table.
Yeah, fucker. You've ruined our chances of getting to meet him again, and that's why I don't like you. Because our son was very excited to talk to Darby Allin.
Well, she'll forgive you eventually.
So was I.
She'll forgive you eventually. You weren't like Pac, so she'll forgive you. Ooh, MJF. The devil himself, our favorite scumbag. We did a whole episode on MJF, so I don't know if we have to go too much into his details. But I'm just going to say, how about this for this? We'll kind of flip down and reverse it. So, do you think at Grand Slam Australia he's going to lose his title to Brody, or do you think he goes into Revolution? So, how about you predict MJF through Revolution? What do you think is going to happen with his future?
I don't know. I'm not ready to talk about that yet, actually, because I can't decide. But I do have a bunch of accolades I'd like to list off.
Okay, what do you got?
So he's only 29 years old. He's a 2-time AEW World Champion. He has a 75% win average in AEW. He holds the longest title reign of 406 days as AEW
Oh, yeah,
World
he rubbed that in
Champion.
Kenny's face, remember?
Yes, he's a former AEW International Champion, former Ring of Honor Tag Champion. He was the first to open and close a pay-per-view with Adam Cole.
Yep. He also headlined Wembley.
Yeah. From 2016 to 2019, he appeared in 413 matches and is a former Limitless Wrestling Champion. Their first, actually.
And you know what? He was the inaugural, and he went back to Limitless this January, wrestled Alec Price for the AEW World title, and then that's when Alec Price and Oliver got their contract, so it came full circle, and I think that's a cool moment.
I cried a little.
I think saying he's someone to look out for doesn't make sense. He is the top of this industry, and he's not even 30 years old. He's someone I can see one day main eventing a WrestleMania. I can see him doing...
He told the world at 5 years old he was going to be a professional wrestler. And he sang opera on Rosie O'Donnell. How?
Because he's a multi-generational, talented scumbag. And like I said, I can see him main eventing WrestleMania one day. I can see him main eventing the Tokudo. I think the sky's the limit for MJF. I think he's one of the best heels in wrestling. I think that some people don't like him, but you're not supposed to. I think he's also got the ring set to back it up. Like, he doesn't need to be that flashy wrestler. He doesn't need to pull out the moves. He can. We've seen him wrestle and pull out the big moves. We've seen him pull out Panama City Sunrises. We've seen him pull out cutters. We've seen him pull out the flippy moves.
I've seen him pull out a kangaroo kick.
That was double clothesline. Like, come on, we've seen it all. Beating Darby twice with a headlock takeover.
He was comedic. He's been serious. He's been the asshole. He's been the baby. He's been every little piece of it. He's been the best friend.
He can be. That's what I'm saying. Sky's the limit for him. I see him losing his title at Revolution. I don't think it's going to be Grand Slam. I see it Revolution because I think he's someone he doesn't need another long title reign. I think he's someone that after he loses that title, he's going to start going after people. I think he's going to start hurting people. I think, not like to hurt somebody, but I think he's going to start ruining other people's chances.
He was probably the first person to be part of that was white.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely an interesting...
That was really comedic. I think that whole thing was so great. You never expected MJF to get to be a part of it, and then he was, and you're how long is this lasting?
I know, I don't know what happened with that. That was...
It was good.
It seems like they ended quickly, so I almost feel like, I don't know why. I wish they kind of dragged it out a little bit.
I don't know. Story. I thought it was great. I thought we had someone else coming in, so...
I know, I thought we were getting the Dynasty. Well, speaking of Limitless, speaking of former Limitless champions... Speaking of actually the Limitless champion during the pandemic in 2020, Red Death, Daniel Garcia, another person we've done a whole episode on. Go check it out.
I literally wrote cheap plug.
And I just think that, I've said a lot of my thoughts before. I think right now he's kind of stalling out in the Death Riders, but I think there's a vision for him. I think they can see it through. I think about one of my all-time favorite moments is when he came back at Wembley, he unmasked himself and attacked MJF. Because he's like, I don't think they're going to remember me, and that place popped hard for him. And I think future's very bright for him. I think he should get another shot at the TNT title. I don't think it was fair to have him as a champion and enter the C2. I think I want to see him kind of defend that title. I don't mean like right away, but maybe after Tommaso's had it for all, maybe Tommaso puts him over. Maybe that's who I'd love to see him work with a Ciampa. I'd love to see him work with a Fletcher again. I want to see him work with his style of wrestlers.
I have a fun fact for you.
What's that?
Did you know he had a single match in WWE?
No, I did not.
In NXT as Dante Rios for a one-time appearance. So we often talk about the ability to flip back and forth between AEW and WWE and then AEW and how not many wrestlers have done that yet. Andrade might be the only. I think it's kind of funny because this happened in 2018 or 2020 he had 2 dark matches, and then 2021 he made his Rampage and Dynamite debuts. So to see that in 2021 he also had an NXT appearance kind of just made me chuckle.
I mean, they were doing that a lot. I mean, look at Cora Jade. She came on with like the whole Magician's kit, and then she was signed to NXT. Actually, Nathan Frazier, who he was on at one point as Ben Carter. He was on, and so it happened a lot. That's Axiom's partner. So, like, as you see, there's been people who kind of, your point about Dark being gone, there was a lot of people who were on Dark that got signed to NXT and vice versa.
He also worked for 205 Live in 2018.
That I'd heard about, but I didn't actually see it in person because I didn't watch a lot of 205 live besides when we saw it pay-per-views or when we were at the show live.
I think a good what if for him would be what if he had been signed in 2019 because he did break his legs, and I wonder if that hindered his signing.
I mean, I don't. I think it hindered a lot, but I don't think. I think it wouldn't have been good if he had signed W that early because.
Not WWE, AEW.
Oh, yeah.
Could he have been one of the originals in 2019? He still is an original, but to me, but
I don't know. I think that's definitely a good what if scenario. I think it's hard to say because I think based on what the roster was then, he easily could have. Based on, I think he came at the right time because I think he came in when the roster was in need of some other independent talent with a different style, and I think working with Bryan Danielson helped him out. Ooh, why are these? I'm sorry about the typos today, but this is Nick fucking Wayne. The prodigy Nick Wayne, who hopefully should be back soon. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's probably more serious than we originally thought with his injury. We haven't seen him in a few months. Obviously, we all know his history with GCW, winning the Ring of Honor. He's still technically Ring of Honor TV champ. They have not stripped it yet, so he is still technically Ring of Honor TV champion. Another Cruise legend, son of Buddy Wayne, trained by some of the best from the Pacific Northwest. He's got a lot of accolades, and he's still, what, 22? 21?
20.
Wow, I'm way off.
He started wrestling at 12 years old in 2018. He traveled the country while in high school and was one of the first under 18 to be presented with a future contract for AEW. To my knowledge, there's only 3 people that have had a contract for the future, and it's him, Billy Starks, and Brody.
You're correct. There's only been 3.
He's a former Defy World Champion, former GCW Tag Team Champion, Ring of Honor TV Champion, and AEW World Trios Champion. And he faced Will Ospreay at 16 years old.
In Rhode Island. I was so mad we weren't able to go to that match. Providence, Rhode Island, GCW, Nick Wayne versus Ospreay. Look it up on YouTube. Phenomenal. That match really opened my eyes to who Nick Wayne was and why they chant Nick fucking Wayne, and why even our 12-year-old chants that.
I think at 20 years old, he is already very, very smart, and I think he has a great eye for this business, and I think that he is going to be someone that leads the future of wrestling because he is so talented at such a young age, much like Javion Evans. I think I see them just being like a prominent force in their 30s, maybe even training the next generation and the next generation.
I can see Nick Wayne training, especially where his dad has the school. I can see him where he's worked with Era Fox a lot and he's seen that. I can see him. He could be training people right now. Who knows? We could find out later that him and Sting's son have been training together because there's a lot that some wrestlers don't say until after their career's done because they don't want to give everything away.
And to know that he was traveling the world in high school is also wild to me.
I mean, remember when he told us he went to Japan by himself?
Yeah, with the GCW crew. Of all people to travel across the country
But I feel
with.
like it's a brotherhood. I think yes. They would have protected him. Seeing how Joey Janela treats the veterans who go in the locker room and the rookies, I think, he's someone who probably busts his ass. I see Joey taking good care of him, but now
yeah, it's just
but
like
I know,
crazy.
yeah, that's like going
travel with a bunch of deathmatch wrestlers,
or no, going with the frat boys. That's basically what it's like, going with the boys. It's a dangerous situation, but you know what? It's working out for him. All right, Top Flight, Dante Martin, who I absolutely love that Dante Martin has just exploded not only as a singles wrestler, but as a tag team wrestler. Now he's in a trio with Skyflight team. Probably one of the best wrestlers to come out of the Midwest in the past few years. Him and his brother have torn it up on the indies. They've torn it up on the cruise. He tore up Smokey's chest, if I can say that right.
Oh my
with
God,
that
yeah.
shop. Super nice guy. Awesome to see how he interacted with all the fans' crews. When he wrestles, you forget there's gravity. Like even this past week when he was on Dynamite and he did that top rope spot where he kind of like went through the rope to avoid the move and then back in, like he was standing still.
Yes, it's Dante Martin has always had great ring awareness, and that's something I've always like caught on with him is just his incredible tandem style. Everything about Dante Martin is just incredible. And he had a great singles run while his brother Darius was out. Darius is also 30 under 30. He didn't make our list, but it's only because, again, we're not even going to get to everybody we do
I was going to say, we
have.
only have time for a few more, so yeah.
I think that it's incredible to see where he is. Did you know he was trained by Ken Anderson?
I did. Only reason why I knew that is because he told us when we went to a wrestling show, some of the people he's trained. Because he was talking to our kiddo about the school.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I just remember going, really? Mr. Anderson trained you? Like, if you knew Mr. Anderson style, I'm not knocking. It's just, he's not someone who wrestles like top flight. So to see like this, he calls himself like a hybrid lucha. So to see this like lucha style from like a strong style traditional wrestling school, it's wild. And being from the Midwest where, they had to drive through blizzards to get to where they had to go.
Yeah, and he debuted in 2020 for AEW, and again, that holds volume. To think that he was so young, and he still is, and this is another one. I can't wait to see what he brings to the future of wrestling, because that ring awareness is going to be caught on by other wrestlers as well. The ring awareness is almost better than what the Young Bucks have to offer, and I've said that for years.
No, he's definitely very fluid in the ring for sure. All right, what we got here? Ooh. Adam Priest. Seems like this is a DPW night. Almost like if Limitless and DPW have had some really good fucking talent come through. Adam Priest recently signed former pretty much DPW champion and national champion, I believe.
Yes.
And he's someone that was like a big face and a big force of the independent scene for a while. Kind of quietly signed to AEW and really has started to kind of find his own identity, especially with the FTR feuds and all that situation. So I'm excited because we haven't seen a lot of Adam Priest on television, but I know he was on the indies for a long time.
Yes, he's 29 years old. He was trained by AR Fox.
Another one by AR Fox.
And he built his name in the South across multiple promotions. He appeared on Dark in 2020, AEW Dark, sorry, and later would be signed in 2025. And like you said, the former DPW champion.
And it's incredible to see just this episode that we've mentioned DPW multiple times, like I said, Limitless multiple times. You've mentioned Defy, we've mentioned Evolve. Support your local indies. Like, look at these. If you look at the women's episode, we've seen people. If you look at this episode, we've seen people. And that's because we go to the independent shows. Okay, so you pay $50 and you might only recognize one person on the card, but you might leave saying, I liked all these other people on the card.
If you live towards the East Coast, just know you have at least 5 main companies in New England alone that are easy to travel to, because New England, it's a couple-hour drive.
If you just Google independent wrestling near me, there's so many websites that have, like, you can put in your zip code and it'll tell you which active promotions are near you. So there's always something. Check it out. For less than what it costs to go to a televised wrestling event, you can go have dinner and watch some of the future stars of wrestling.
And get merch. And support them.
I was going to say, and you could buy merch directly from them so the proceeds go to them, like you said. All right. Ooh, Axiom. Now, here's an interesting one to me, because I told you earlier about Ben Carter, his tag team partner. Axiom, also before they put him together, because they weren't a tag team on the indies. WB put them together. Axiom wrestled without his mask, so this is weird to me, because I saw him without his mask, and now seeing him with a mask was like a whole different person. He's someone who needs to go solo. I love Axiom. I think he's so fun in the ring, and he's so talented.
He's been signed to WWE since 2019, and he's only 27. He's a former 2-time NXT champion and a inaugural NXT UK Heritage Cup champion. And he's been wrestling, or he also wrestled as A-Kid.
That's who it was. A-Kid, that's who had the mask.
And that's who he won that NXT UK Heritage Cup as.
Yeah, I was going to say, when he was A-Kid, because then I remember he got repackaged as Axiom, and I like this. He still kind of wrestles that style, but now he wrestles with a really cool mask. He's had that feud with Johnny Gargano that I think it might be over. But him and, obviously Fraxium, Nate Frazier, and Axiom are a great tag team. They won Tag Team of the Year in 2024 from ESPN.
How are we not going to get to all of these names? I'm so defeated.
I mean, it's just...
We're going to have to do like a bonus episode with the women and men we didn't get to.
We'll have to see. Let's see if I don't think it saved who was left. We'll have to look on the tape. All right. Shota Umino. Oh, good. Okay. We'll do one more after Umino for you. Umino I love because there's a lot of people who don't like Umino because he kind of embodies, and it's true, the ups and downs in New Japan. So the big thing with Umino, obviously, it's Red Shoes' son. A lot of people feel like his push is forced. A lot of people don't like that he was kind of thrust into the main event scene against Zack Sabre Jr., that he didn't really pay his dues. And I don't agree with all that. I think Umino is someone that New Japan just hasn't consistently gotten behind. He's one of their young prospects. He's very flashy, like Tanahashi. He's very much into that, like, look at me, the glitz and the glamour. But he wrestles like a Moxley or a Claudio. Like, he's great. I watched him this year, especially in the Climax, G1 Climax, performing great matches. And it never seems they have full faith and trust in him to pull the trigger and elevate him. And that's the big problem with New Japan, in my personal opinion, is they don't always get behind some of these young guns. So I'm glad he's on this list because he's someone that I feel like it just needs to get that person to believe him.
Yeah, he's only 28 years old. He debuted in New Japan at 20 years old, and in 9 years has had 750 matches. Despite all of these matches, he hasn't competed in a lot of companies. However, among the few are AEW, Rev Pro, CMLL, and Noah. And he's definitely going to be a future champion. It's just getting that trigger pulled on him. And also, he played baseball for 10 years prior to wrestling. So I kind of could... I could see him having some kind of like an arm move. I feel like I haven't watched a lot of his matches, so this is something I'm excited to look into because I feel like almost like a lariat like style.
I mean, he throws a strong clothesline, so I guess that you could go with that inspiration.
Yeah, like I feel like.
Are you thinking like the discus,
wise,
like a spinning clothesline?
Yeah.
It's almost like, yeah.
Because I feel like you get that.
He's definitely got a lot of raw power for sure.
And he's known for his entrance, handing out glow sticks.
Yes, it's very much fun, and it's, again, I think there's a lot of history when it comes to wrestling, and I think some people get mad because they think, oh, this person's being pushed because of this, and I think the ups and downs fan reactions are why he doesn't get a push. But give him a chance, go watch him without any other perceptions. And I think if people just saw his matches for what they were, they realize this kid's talented. And New Japan really puts more faith in him.
All right, this last spin is so tough, guys. Look at the names left on this, though. Like,
all right.
Oh, I really want to talk about one of them, and it's not him. No.
All right, well, that's rude, because I love Komander.
It's not that I don't want to talk about Komander,
Another
but
Cruise alumni.
my boy Ace Austin's up there.
Well, I have a boy up there, too, Vikingo and Kevin Knight, so it's okay, because I guess, like you said, we'll save him for a bonus episode. So, Komander, who I absolutely love, because if you really think of the name, he takes command of the air.
Yes.
Like, I just love the play on words. I still love when he was on the fucking cruise and he had a captain's hat on. He walked the ropes, did a moonsault, and barely lost the hat on the freaking middle of the ocean. Seeing him wrestle in AEW has been nothing short of like amazing. Every time I've seen him in the ring, he's incredible. He's had a great run in CMLL, and I know he's definitely had a long history because he's young, but I know he's been around for a bit.
Yes, he's 27, and he debuted in 2015 in AAA. He has wrestled in all the big promotions within his first 10 years. Former AAA World Tag Team Champion and AAA Cruiserweight Champion. Ring of Honor former television champion, and says his signature walk across those ropes was actually developed in a way to help him relax. And he started at age 12.
So, fun fact for you, the AAA Tag Team titles, his partner was Arez, a.k.a. El Clone. His current tag team partner is Hologram. I just want to point that out.
Dang.
So, I'm just saying, that's why I'm glad he came out, because that lineage you read was with Arez, a.k.a. El Clone. So, I think it's cool. It all kind of connects.
If people ever wonder why I enjoy watching Ring of Honor and AEW, the luchador style is exactly why. I absolutely love, like you said, we can't talk about Vikingo. Fuck, because he's one of my absolute favorites.
How about this? One more, since it's our show, we'll do one more.
All right.
Ready?
It's going to land on someone smaller.
We're going to shuffle it a couple times. And go.
It's going to land on Dominic. I just know it. Oh!
There we go. The Jet.
Love this.
Kevin Knight. There we go. We got to end with a good one. Kevin Knight.
I mean, they were all good, to be honest.
You know what I mean. Okay, last but certainly not least, we'll say that.
A gush over one.
Kevin Knight, not only trained by some of the absolute best in the New Japan dojo, one of my favorite tag teams with Kushida. I loved seeing him do all the time splitter stuff in TNA. I loved seeing him wrestle around the world. When he became All Elite, I was giddy as hell. I love his little turning frog splash that he does, his athleticism. And he's so young and he's still learning. He's already an 8W Trios champion, so he's already starting to hit his potential.
Are you ready?
Here we go.
I'm going to lay it out fast since it's our last one. He is 28 years old. He trained under Buddy Wayne and Shibata. Debuted in 2019. The pandemic interfered a little bit with his start as he would train and become part of the New Japan Young Lions programming.
It's
I don't want to
basically
say
their rookie
program,
class.
but yeah.
Like their rookie class.
He debuted in 2022 for AEW at Forbidden Door in a multi-man match.
He did.
He was signed early 2025 after being the first black wrestler to graduate the New Japan Dojo.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he took on some of the best-known promotions, including Progress, CMLL, Impact, MLW, DPW, Defy, GCW, Ring of Honor, and MLP.
How the fuck did we miss him at DPW?
I looked. It was like New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So I think Ohio. I was like, how did I miss this? And I
Thanks,
clicked
AJ.
and then he's not only the World Trios champion at AEW, but also a former 2-time New Japan Junior Tag Team Champion.
And he was in the new Super Juniors.
Yes. And I have a really fun fact.
What's that?
He's a 4th generation competitive bowler, and he started bowling at the age of 2.
He should really hang out with JD
Drake. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I bet those two go bowling.
If they don't, hey, guess what? We should
We'll hook you up
just
together.
remember who told you guys about the bowling skills. But no, yeah, we'll definitely, we'll have to see who we have left. Let me know. Maybe we'll do a special Patreon bonus episode. It'll be exclusive for Patreon members. So there's a little cheap plug, cwkpod.com. All of our episodes ad-free. You get the Is It That Bad bonus episode there a week before it goes on YouTube. So maybe we'll release this as another bonus as a thank you for our new subscribers. And then it'll go on YouTube as well, which please make sure you like, follow, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, let us know. We appreciate all the support. We couldn't do this channel without you guys. We couldn't do this content without you guys. We enjoy talking wrestling. I mean, Emily literally dove deep into these notes for a long time to get prepared for these episodes. She really put her heart into it. I'm very proud of her because this is something that she's been wanting to do, and she's been wanting me to help put together, and I dragged my feet for too long on this. And I'm glad we got to put out 60-plus wrestlers that are the future of this generation.
Yeah, this was in the works for just over a year. We had to take some people out, add some people in.
We originally had 25 under 25. That's how long I took.
But in expanding it, because we did want to get to all the people that are 25 to 30, I think that it was really important to touch on every single person that we could. During our bonus episode, I do want to touch on the youngest signed AEW person, which is Brody.
No, I think that'll be interesting to talk about. And yeah, stay tuned for the special bonus episode. We'll drop 2. So after you listen to this part 2, keep an eye out. We'll put that out there. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you like, subscribe, give us a 5-star frog splash of the review. And remember, always keep the kayfabe.